8th TCU International e-learning conference 2017. I think our keynote speakers for today's sessions are very interesting in terms of their presentation. I would like to kick off by the first keynote speaker. He is the founder and the CEO of Class Central, the most popular search engine and review site for MOOCs. His life changed when he got accepted into the Masters in Computer Science program at Georgia Tech. For the first time, he's discovered that quality education is life-changing. So when free online courses from top universities started popping up, he got excited and also built a one-page site to aggregate all these courses. The site was called Class Central, which is now the leading destination for finding MOOCs, as well as understand what is happening in the world of MOOCs. With a simple interface and tens of thousands of reviews, Class Central has helped 10 million people decide which online course to take next. He has completed over a dozen MOOCs and has written over 200 articles about MOOCs space, including contributions to TechCrunch, Edx Search, Venture Beat course, and Tech Review. And his presentation is entitled The Evolution of MOOC Space in the Last 5 Years. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dawar Shah.
Good morning, everyone. Hello. So my name is Dhaval. And for the last 5 years, I've done a number of online courses. And I also had the opportunity of watching the MOOC space evolve closely. Just technical issues. And I'm going to share this journey that I went through. I'll try to, and my focus will mostly be on US or Mooc providers, but I'll also elaborate on international Mooc providers at the end. And my goal here is to first convey the hype that the MOOCs went through in the very first year of their establishment, and also what are the changes that have occurred since then. So the word MOOCs itself is more of a marketing term. Many people use it differently. There's no fixed definition. It was first coined back in 2008 when a couple of instructors did an experiment, but it didn't catch on. But in 2011 and 2012, when Stanford started offering free online courses, the media brought back this term and started applying to the space. And here's how we define MOOCs at Class Central. Usually these are free online courses taught by universities. They also have an element of feedback, like quizzes, assignments, homeworks. Many of them have forums, so peers can interact with each other. A lot of these things have changed in the last 5 years, and I'll elaborate on these changes as we go through the talk. And just to set the baseline, at the end of 2016, we were at 58 million students who had taken at least one MOOC, and more than 700 universities that had created online courses. These numbers are based on an analysis that I do at the end of every year. And since I published these numbers are into mid-2017 have definitely gone up. And at Class Central, we aggregate MOOCs from all over the world. We categorize them into based on the subjects, and then it's a searchable directory of MOOCs. We also have tens of thousands of reviews, so it helps you decide if a course is right for you. I founded Class Central back in 2011. And since then, we have helped more than 10 million people decide which online course to take. Beyond just a directory, we also publish a lot of news and analysis of the MOOC space. And we have published over 500 articles on our blog, Mooc Report. I myself have published articles on a number of different publications. So let me start with the origin story. What I'm trying to do here is I'll point to specific events that happened in the first year of the MOOC. And my goal here is to convey the hype that occurred and why it occurred. So let's get started. So it all began when, almost 6 years to this day, when a couple of Stanford professors announced a free online course on artificial intelligence. Sebastian Thrun was one of these professors. Previously, he was head of Google X and also led Google's self-driving car effort. And within a month of announcing, over 58,000 people signed up for his course. And all this happened without any marketing, purely word of mouth. And they also got featured in New York Times. And at the same time, another group of Stanford professors, this time led by Andrew Ng and Daphne Kohler, announced 2 more free online courses. One course was taught by Andrew Ng himself. It was in machine learning. And the other one was taught by Jennifer Wyndham. It was Introduction to Database. And on October 10, 2011, these 3 courses went live. Even though at this point, nobody was calling them MOOCs yet, they were just Stanford free online courses. According to me, I consider this as the birth date of the MOOC revolution. And almost 100,000 students, or more than 100,000 students, signed up for all these 3 courses. I actually was one of them. I had signed up for Sebastian Thrun's artificial intelligence class. And while these courses were going on, Stanford kept announcing a few more courses. And each course has a different site. So one of the problems was, if you wanted to know the start date, you had to click through so many different sites to figure out what the start dates are and when can you take which course. So what I did was, I just built a one-page site which listed all these courses on one page in a single table that you could sort by start date. And so that's how Class Central was launched. I just launched it over the weekend. And in December, MIT also decided to join the game. They announced MIT X, a platform where they will offer free online courses. And the platform behind MIT X was also supposed to be open sourced. And meanwhile, I got my certificate in artificial intelligence. At this time, I didn't have to pay for it, but in 2017, unfortunately, you have to pay if you want to get a certificate. And in January, it's when things started moving really fast. I discovered on the Stanford, like on the course pages of Stanford, suddenly started showing the name Coursera. And that's how Coursera was born. This was the first homepage of Coursera, and as you can see on the top in the mission statement, they mention that their mission is to provide free online courses to everyone in the world. Unfortunately, that's not their mission statement now. And this Coursera was founded by the second group of Stanford professors that announced the ML and DB class. It was started by Andrew Ng and Daphne Kohler. And their courses had already, this is still January, and their courses already had gathered tens of thousands of registration. The smallest course that had registration was probabilistic graphical models. It had only 35,000 registrations. And it's a very difficult course and taught by Daphne Kohler, who co-founded Coursera. And meanwhile, the first group behind the artificial intelligence class, they announced a new platform called Udacity with 2 new courses. One was CS 101, and the other one was programming a robotic car that was self-driving robotic car by Sebastian Thrun. And at the end of January, I stumbled upon a job post by Coursera which revealed that they're going to be a for-profit company. At that point, it was a bit surprising because many of us thought that Coursera is going to be part of Stanford as a non-profit organization. Even 2 days before I found the job post, in an interview, one of the co-founders mentioned that they're not sure if Coursera should be a for-profit or non-profit. So things were moving really fast back then. And in February, Udacity went live with their first 2 courses. I still remember the day it went live. The day it was supposed to launch. I kept refreshing their page. And as soon as it launched, I went around and started playing with the site, with the interface. And apparently, I became the first person to ever complete a programming quiz on Udacity. This is the email I received from the professor who was teaching the CS 101 course. Thank you. And not to be outdone, oops. Screensaver. And yes, not to be outdone, I too launched a new design for Class Central. Nobody really cared, but I did launch it. And at this time, it was just a hobby for me. I used to spend nights and weekends trying to see what's happening and keep track of all these courses. And then in March, MITx goes live. They went live with a course called Circuits and Electronics. It was taught by a professor named Anant Agrawal, who later on became the CEO of Edx. One of the interesting features of this platform was you could draw a circuit in the browser itself for one of the assignments. You could also access, Anant had a textbook which cost like more than $100. You could access that textbook inside the platform for free. I was hoping this was one of the features that would catch on, but unfortunately it didn't. And then in April, Coursera raised $18 million, $16 million, and announced 20 more courses. Harvard and MIT soon followed up. they announced an initiative called Edx, which was based on MITx. And they put in $60 million to fund Edx. And the platform behind Edx, similar to MITx, was going to be open source. It is called Edx now, and that's what Thai Mooc uses for its, and many other international providers, for its platform to host courses. Then in August, Coursera announced that they crossed 1 million users. And at that time, Coursera liked to brag that they reached their first million users faster than Facebook reached their first million users. It was quite an achievement back then, but the growth hasn't been the same since then. And then in September, Coursera announced 17 new university partners. We are still in the first year, and this takes the university partners to 33 universities with almost 200 courses announced. And finally, in October, Udacity announced that they raised another $15 million. They had raised a $6 million round before, which they didn't announce. And basically, that's how the first year of Mooc ended. You had announcements after announcement every month. And within a year, we went from just one university offering 3 courses to 40 universities having announced more than 250 courses. The New York Times started calling this as the year of the Mooc, a term that nobody had heard of until even a few months ago. And the media played a major role in creating this hype. Throughout the period, they constantly wrote articles that basically pronounced the end of universities, disruption of higher education. And what this did was it created a FOMO, fear of missing out, both in higher education as well as Silicon Valley. And both these two groups invested huge amounts of resources and capital without having a plan to how to get a return of their investments. 5 years later, we now know that universities are not going to be disrupted by MOOCs. But in that period, MOOCs have grown rapidly. This is a graph that The Economist published early this year in an issue on lifelong learning. It is based on the data that we provided them. And as you can see, the red line, it represents the growth of courses, while the blue vertical bar represents the growth in number of students. So both these numbers have grown rapidly over the last 5 years. And as Mooc providers have focused on monetization, they have started offering more and more courses in business and technology. And this is how the landscape for the top 5 Mooc providers look like. Edx, Coursera, Edx, and Udacity were formed in the first year of the Mooc space, and they have been in the top 5 since then. XUTANG is a Mooc provider based out of China. It started maybe a couple of years after all these providers, or maybe in 3 years, and it's catching up quickly. I predict they will cross Edx in the next couple of years, maybe even faster. And FutureLearn is a UK-based Mooc provider that is a wholly owned subsidiary of Open University. They're also been growing rapidly. And if you want to learn more, like don't want to bore you with too many numbers. I want to move on the top 5 Mooc trends. But if you want to learn more about this, you can read it in my end of the year article. Just search for Mooc stats on Google, and it should be somewhere near the top. Now let me capture where we are now in terms of trends and how MOOCs have evolved in the last 5 years. So when MOOCs started, everything was free: the videos, certificates, assignments. But unfortunately, that is not true. as Mooc providers started focusing on monetization, the portions of the course that are free have constantly shrunk. The policies sort of vary from provider to provider, but every provider has made a change to restrict access to, limit access to MOOCs. The first thing to go was the free certificate. In the first year, the certificates were free, and then Mooc providers added another level of a certificate called the verified certificate. And the idea was, if you pay as a student, they will verify your identity and attach it to the certificate. Unfortunately, it was not enough to get people to pay, and people were just happy with the free certificate. So they had to remove the free certificate, and the verified certificate just became the new certificate. The other big change that Coursera made early this year is they put up the graded assignments, homeworks, and quizzes behind a paywall. Unless you pay for the certificate, you won't be able to access the graded assignments. And it caused a lot of controversy and a lot of long blog posts from students who were not happy with the change. But it didn't matter, and Coursera went ahead with it. Then another MOOC provider, FutureLearn, also followed up with the similar changes. And now all the MOOC providers are offering completely paid courses on their platforms. Sometimes it's not easy to figure out which courses are completely paid, but all of them have plans or have announced courses that are completely paid. Usually these can range from low tens of dollars to even single-digit $1,000. I think Coursera has a course which is from Rice University, which is a couple of $1,000s or more. So, and at some point that course was actually free, but they now changed it to paid. And the second trend is the change in how the MOOCs are scheduled. Originally, MOOCs were session-based. What that means, it had a start date, end date, and also hard deadlines for assignments. But there was a number of issues with session-based courses. They were only offered once or twice a year, and they had to rely on the professor's availability and schedule for it to run. So as a student, it was kind of frustrating to find a course that you want to take, only to realize that the course ended like a few months ago, or it will start in a few months. From the provider's perspective, it was also inconvenient to monetize if the courses just ran a few months a year. So they made a switch to basically courses are now available throughout the year. You can just, most of the courses now, once they start, are always open to enroll. The assignments are soft deadlines. They're not hard deadlines anymore. And in case of Coursera, what they have done is they do have start dates, but these are just guidelines. And courses are now automatically started every 2 weeks or a month. So in case you cannot catch up to the current session, you can move your progress to the next session. So it's very convenient for the students. We did a quick poll on our Twitter account, and a majority of the students preferred session-based courses over self-paced courses. And the data from the providers agree. This is a quote from Ajay, who is the CEO of Cadenze, a MOOC platform optimized for arts education. In early 2016, they made a similar change, and they got more assignment submissions in 1 month than the entirety of 2015. So in some ways, the schedule switch is something that both providers as well as students want. But this change in schedule has caused MOOCs to be no longer massive. This is a screenshot of forums that I took last year when I was doing a machine learning course on Coursera. You might not be able to see it, but there's just been one post in the last 4 days. And before that, there's probably a post a day. So the forum activity has drastically reduced. At one time, Coursera used to boast that it took 22 minutes for a question on forum to get a reply back. Now it's just crickets. And this is basically caused due to the schedule changes. Before before all the students were collected and started together in 1 or 2 sessions a year. Now they're moving to in small cohorts because now you can start as soon as possible, and this has led to a drastic reduction in forum activity. The other big trend has been MOOC providers' effort around creating some kind of tangible way for you to earn credit or credential or degrees. Over the years, there have been many efforts to allow students to earn credits on the base for MOOCs, but they haven't really caught on. The announcement that you see here is from Arizona State University and Edx, where they launched the Global Freshman Academy, which basically allowed students to earn credits online for their first year of undergrad. And I don't think I've heard anything positive about like students adopting this. The other problem, at least in the US, is it's not easy to understand if the credits are transferable or not. So I think that further hampers the adoption. But the big investment MOOC providers have made is in MOOC-based credentials. These are usually a sequence of courses that learners have to take to earn a certificate. And they're bigger than a course and smaller than a degree. Some people call it micro-credentials. And they're generally focused in high-demand skills in technology and business. Each provider has a unique name for their own credential. Coursera calls themselves specialization. Udacity calls them nano degree. And in case of Edx, they have 3 different credentials. It causes confusion in terms of student because these names are still very early stages and it's not clear from the names what they actually entail. So it's good from the MOOC providers. They're trying to brand themselves and own that the next big term, but from a student's perspective, it causes additional confusion. I'm not sure even employers understand what these credentials are. The one interesting credential that I would like to highlight is Edx Micro Masters. So if you earn a Micro Masters credential, then you can actually apply to the university that created that credential for the master's program, and if you get accepted, they waive off 1 semester worth of credits. So what this means is it reduces for the learners, it reduces the cost of a master's degree as well as the time. But even if you don't really take the credit, I think it's a good signal to the employers that if the universities are willing to accept their own courses as credit, then it means that it's a more rigorous credentials as opposed to other credentials which are not backed by any other, like a real world currency. But the most expensive product that MOOC providers can offer is a completely online master's degree. Almost 4 years ago, Georgia Tech was the first one to announce, along with Udacity, an online master's in computer science. And if you get that degree, on the degree certificate, it doesn't say whether it's an online degree or not. I actually have a master's from Georgia Tech in computer science, and I paid $60,000 for that privilege. This degree costs less than $7,000. And since it's been a long time, we have some numbers. More than 4,500 students are enrolled in the degree right now, but only 300 have graduated. It's only because most of them are taking a part-time and have a full-time job. So they take significantly longer to graduate as opposed to an on-campus student. And all the Mooc providers have shown their intent on launching more online degrees. If things go according to plan, we might see almost 100 postgrad and master's degree by 2020. It's just easier to monetize the online degree as opposed to free online courses, so it makes sense to move in that direction. This is just a landscape of the major Mooc providers, and you can see everybody is kind of doing everything, maybe except Udacity with the college credit. And the final big trend is like MOOCs have found their audience. The original narrative for MOOCs were they were targeted towards people. They were supposed to be a replacement for a university education. But now, 5 years on, providers have found that the real audience for MOOCs are adult learners, people who are generally have a degree and are well beyond their college years. They generally do these courses not they do these courses primarily for career growth. According to Coursera, 89% of their learners are above the age of 22. So it sends a very strong signal on who takes these courses. And the way Mooc providers are targeting these professional learners is through 3 different ways. The first one is the certificate programs like specialization, nano degrees, micro masters. The second is through online degrees. And the last one is through corporate learning. So instead of reaching directly to the learners, they go to their employers and get them to pay for these certificates. Usually these are multi-year contracts and can be of significant dollar value. It's still early stages, but Coursera claims to have 50 companies that have joined their corporate learning program. The corporate learning market is significantly bigger than the business-to-consumer market that the MOOCs started out in. So this is another direction I expect MOOC providers to heavily invest in. And finally, I would like to paint a picture of the landscape of MOOC providers and how I see things. In my view, the MOOC providers are distributed in 2 major categories, global and regional. The global ones are usually the ones that partner with number of universities around the world. They've generally focused on adult learners and they sometimes also partner with tech companies like Microsoft has 100+ courses on edX, and Coursera also has a partnership with Google. And they will target these adult learners through certificate programs, online degrees, and corporate training. They have a very strong focus on monetization, and generally their focus is also on high-demand tech skills and maybe business skills like data science, digital marketing. Regional MOOC providers, on the other hand, are generally focused on a certain geography or a country. They start out looking like global MOOC providers, wherein they partner with universities in their country and launch courses. But they have another role in which they can focus, improve the quality of education in their country, quality of and access of higher education in their country. And Since many of them are backed by the government, they have the potential to launch legislation that allows hybrid or blended learning programs that help students earn credits, students in the current education system to earn credits that count towards their degrees. Let me give you a couple of examples on two providers that have made progress in that area. So the first one is Swayam. It's India's official Mooc platform. It partners with the top universities in India and has launched a number of online courses. But the government of India also released a legislation last year that allows students to earn credits through Swayam. So this is how it works. An institution, a higher education institution in India can curate 20% of their catalog from Swayam. Then the students can enroll in these courses, and if they don't have the resources like computer or internet access, their parent institution has to provide them with the infrastructure. At the end of the course, at the end of the semester, they have to give a proctored exam at an institution, at their parent institution or somewhere nearby, and they will be able to get recognition for that course they did online. So yeah, even if you're in like a small town, you can get a credit from the best institution in India. So the legislation is pretty impressive, but Swayam has faced issues on execution and logistics. They started on this journey more than 3 years ago. It's still not completely live. Instead of choosing Open Edx, they went with trying to build their own platform and unfortunately hired Microsoft India to build it. I tried the first version and it wasn't impressive. The other one is JutangX. What they have done is they have launched a product called Cloud LMS, which universities in China can use to offer JutangX courses to their students. And it also allows, if a professor wants, they can create their own Mooc courses for their students. Maybe it's no coincidence that the two largest countries by population have moved ahead to take this step. But we are almost here at the end. But in general, regional Mooc providers have the potential to target problems that are very local to their countries, while global Mooc providers will focus more on monetization or things that are at a global scale. They will focus on maybe technology and business, but might not focus on skills that a certain country might require. They want to focus on things that make them a lot more money. And my concern is that the global Mooc providers might go further down the path of paid, and the free that is currently now will further shrink. So the true vision of MOOCs, access to quality education for free, now lies in the hands of regional Mooc providers like Thai Mooc or K Mooc. So yeah, that's it for me. Thank you. If you have any questions, you can just reach out to me via email.
We still have like 5 minutes for any questions from the audience, if you please.
I guess I was very clear.
Hello.
Wow, thank you so much for your very insightful information. Now I see clearly the history of MOOCs. I have one question, please. As you know, Thai MOOC at the moment, we are built on government initiative. Everything is free for enrollment. Sooner or later, we will need to survive. Business model may have to come in. Based on your experience, what do you think would be a good way for Thai MOOC to look at in terms of sustainability? How can we survive, let's say, 10 years from now? How can we survive? Can you share your thought on this, please? Thank you.
Sure. At this moment, I'm not sure if there's any regional MOOC provider that does an excellent job at monetization. The ones that do a better job at monetization, even Open Edx or Edx doesn't do a good job of monetization. It's generally Coursera, Udacity, which have Silicon Valley money, and they're laser focused on monetization. So I'm an analyst, so I only look at patterns and can answer the question. But I think if you look at Jiutang X, they basically license that LMS, to the local university. So getting universities to sort of, or the Edx model too, where universities pay a subscription fee, and that's how Edx has sustained. And once you have a better catalog, like certification can, if you tie that certification with direct job outcomes, and it gets recognized in Thailand, so it might be a stronger, it might be a good way to monetize that. So I don't know if there's a single strategy. And as I've seen, they have tried, they try everything, and some of it works, some of it doesn't work. So I think you'll have to go down that road to trying multiple different business models to see what works for Thai MOOC.
Thank you so very much. Any more questions? Yes, please. You can come up to the microphone over there.
Hello. Okay. I just have a quick question, because traveling to Online Educa in Berlin and OLC in the States, everybody's talking about the death of the MOOC. So what is your point and take on this right now?
I mean, as like MOOCs were hyped, the death of MOOCs is also hyped. I think as a student, the MOOC space has generally grown, but it's the media attention that has grown and waned. It's still strong. We get like 400,000 people a month looking for MOOCs, and we are one of the smallest players. I think from a student perspective, they're looking for something like a free online education. They're looking for something strong. But from a provider perspective, they want to monetize. And if the MOOC vision sort of dies, it's because providers are moving away from, they're changing their monetization strategy. It's not because of the demand.
Okay. Just a quick question, because learning from all these different conferences that supposedly the MOOC is dying. As a student perspective, I agree with you that students are still looking for free online, but as a perspective of graduation or actually finishing the courses, most providers are saying basically if their student pays for it, they're more determined to finish the course. Because I saw you, if you look at some of your stats, 27 million, how many people actually finishing? And as you show with Georgia Tech, I mean, out of that, only 300 students have actually finished. You think that is actually a drive for students to finish more as a monetary fund?
I think paying just shows a stronger intention of you wanting it. Okay. I don't think just paying money causes you to finish it. I think it's just, I think completion rate are probably linearly connected to how much you pay, because if I'm paying, I kind of have recognized the value of this course. When you sign up for a free course, you're just still playing around. So it's a convenient way for MOOC providers to say that paying helps people complete it just because it's their best interest to do that. But for me, I think it's just paying means that you have bought into you're convinced that you need this course, and you're convinced the value that course will provide you. So it's just because that's the one thing I would want to look at, which we can't look at, is like, yes, students who pay complete more courses, but are these the same 10% that would have finished anyways, or are these a different population that, from the outside of the 10% that because of paying they have finished? So, that's unfortunately they won't tell us.
Oh, yeah, true. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the exchange of points of views. Thank you, Dwachar. So we are going to take a short break for 15 minutes, and the second presentation will commence at 10:30. Thank you.
Smith, who talk about a world in 2050. So how many population now? How many billion of people now? Quiz, if you can answer, you can go home early today. How many people today? 7 billion. Lawrence Smith say in 2050, how many billions people? Can you guess how many in 2050? 9 billion people. And he say 5 factors will affect our life in 2050. Number 1, before this one. Number 1 is globalization. Number 2, climate change. Yeah, nowadays we have problem with climate, right? In fact, my friends in Singapore are very worried. My friend in anybody from Singapore? Very worried because every year the water, seawater increasing. So they are thinking maybe someday they will go back to Malaysia again. Anyhow. Number 3 is this thing is moving. My ears is not big enough. Number 3 is the demographics. People who are entering the workforce are different from our generation. And number 4 is the natural resources, which will be depleting. Maybe we need a new source of energy. And the last one is the technology. So we have, how to go back? Okay, this one shows the population, 7 billion now. Internet user is 3 billion. So we have those using social media. I think most of you are using social media. You are contributing to this number, 2.7 billion using the social media. Okay. Okay, are we preparing the kids, our children for the future or the past? Are you willing to prepare your children for the future or the past? Future, of course. Whoa, this is slow. Okay. But school is not like hamburger. Why? Hamburger, you can get how many minutes you order from McDonald's? How many minutes you can get your McDonald's? Maybe 5 minutes. But children is different. It's not like McDonald's. These are McDonald's model of children. Because in English we say we need a village to raise a child, right? Okay, this one is my favorite animal. What is this? This is orangutan. Can you find orangutan in Thailand? No. Actually, orangutan in Malaysia, in Borneo. Orangutan is from Malay language. Malay say orang is human. Hutan is jungle, so jungle man. Orang-utan is jungle man. But in Canada, the orang-utan is the smartest animal in the world because their brain are bigger. Their brain are bigger than human beings, you know. So in Toronto, in a zoo in Canada, they are training the orang-utan to design on iPad. So the orangutan can design on iPad, not only the orangutan. The mother orangutan are training the child, the baby orangutan, how to design on iPad. If you don't have iPad, you are worse than orangutan. No, I'm not. I'm just joking because I cannot make that conclusion yet. Okay. We believe that technology is transforming our life, work, play. Why this is slow, very slow? Because maybe as I away from my computer. Okay, this was my car, Mercedes-Benz. I sold it, now I'm using Lexus. So you can put a lot of things in the car, including your laptop. You have big screen. but sometimes you have to stop dreaming and get back to work, yeah? Because some country has technology, some country don't have technology. Which country are producing technology? Tell me, which country are producing technology? Germany, Japan, Korea. Which country are using technology? Malaysia, Thailand. Which country don't have technology? I don't know. Technophobia? Yeah. Usually among, the senior people. Senior people, sorry, because some of you are technophobia. You're afraid of technology. Like my old professor in my university, I told him, why don't you use PowerPoint? Because we are training our students using PowerPoint. He is using the chalk and talk. He's still using the chalk and talk. How many of you are still using talk and chalk? Chalk and talk? Okay, you doesn't admit, it's okay. Okay, he doesn't use. And I say, why don't you use PowerPoint? We are training our students use PowerPoint. And he answered me. He says, I have power but no point. So make sure when you use PowerPoint, you have both power and point. Okay, Jeffrey Sachs, who wrote the book, The End of Poverty, says that people are not only divided by ideology, but also technology. Some countries have technology, some don't have. So we can use technology to help us, especially in our work performance, enhance teaching, facilitate learning, and our research and development. But this is the problem. One step forward in technology, two steps backward in pedagogy. Even though we have the technology, but our pedagogy is still weak. That's why our students are very boring in our classroom. Yeah? Especially this one. Can you read? Everyone in my... Can you hear me? Can you hear? Okay. It says, everyone in my biology class voted against dissecting a frog, but we almost had enough vote to dissect the teachers. Now student doesn't want to cut the frog, they want to cut the teacher. Why they want to cut the teacher? Why they want to cut you? I hope you are a teacher. Why they want to cut the teacher, not the frog? Yeah, because the teacher is so boring, they are teaching themselves. Especially mathematics teacher, sorry. Are you a mathematics teacher? No. Yeah. Okay? I have one teacher. When I was in the United States, I was one old mathematics teacher. Every time he went to the class, he just went to the blackboard and wrote and solved the problem. Every day he solved the problem. So every day he getting smarter and the student getting dumber. Because he the one who solved the problem. So my naughty friend, who are American, one day before he entered the classroom, he put the centerfold Playboy. You know, Playboy, girl without clothes, put on the blackboard because he came to the class and faced the blackboard. So my friend want to test whether this teacher want to see these photos. And lo and behold, and he went to the classroom and he didn't even look at the pictures. How about you? If some of your students put the centerfold Playboy on the blackboard, what do you do? You say, damn, please tell me who putting this picture on the blackboard. But he didn't say anything. So the teacher was very sensitive. But he was very strict. He said, 8 o'clock, if you didn't reach the classroom 8 o'clock, I will lock the door. And he would lock the door. Every time he locked the door at 8 o'clock because he doesn't want the people late. And one day, he's the one who late and the student closed the door. Please help me. Why this thing is not moving? Because, because our students have problem. They don't know how to solve the problem. Yeah? Because another thing is maybe the teachers, yeah? So what is our attitude toward the technology? I like this cartoon. It says, someday robots will do this job. These are two cleaners. They are cleaning the barn of the horse. And one of them say, one day, robot will help us. We don't have to clean the barn. So the other guy say, what will we do then? Because we don't have to clean the barn. Because the robot will help us. So what he answer? Yeah, his answer is, clean the robots. Even though you have the technology help you, but your attitude is still want to clean the thing. So you clean the robot. And how do people perceive school? These are school. Normally, we have a lot of students. Students see school like prison, yeah? The students see school like prison, jail. Why? Why the students see school like jail? Why the students see school like jail? Because the rule of school and prison is the same. Rule and prison have the same rule. You have to wear the uniform, you have to follow all things. So the students are very boring with the school. Okay? So parents is a heaven school. Because why the parents see school is heaven? Because they can send their children. They don't have to babysit the children, right? They ask the teacher to babysit their student. And the teacher sees it's like a lamb, sheep. The teacher sees this school like a sheep. Very difficult to control. Anybody of you are sheep keeper? Okay, stress teachers. Why does the teacher stresses? These are list of the things that make teachers stress. How many are stressful teachers here? Raise your hand. That's why you come to conference, right? To escape from the school. I know. Okay, in philosophy terms, we have 3 goals of education. Number 1, we want to seek knowledge. Number 2, if you have more education, I think, or I believe, we can have more well-being. We can enhance our well-being. We have more educated. We know how to handle the food. We know how to handle our health and so on. And the number 3 is work. Because without education, you might not able to get a good job. Okay, but education is not about information. Education is not only about knowledge. Education is about wisdom. How you raise your child, your children, from getting knowledge to getting wisdom. We have a lot of things in this era that students are very smart in their knowledge, but in terms of wisdom, they don't have the wisdom. They don't know how to deal with you, with the teachers. They don't know how to deal with the other people. And Socrates say, wisdom begins in wonder. Oh. Okay, new pedagogy. What are the new pedagogies in the digital era? What are the new pedagogies? We know pedagogy, we know andragogy. What else do you know about pedagogy? You don't know? Yeah. I tell you, we have Hutagogy, we have Pedagogy, we have Cybergogy. 3 more goji. Gojis, plural. What is Hutagogy? We need students to be more self-independent. What is pedagogy? We tell them how to work with other students, because nowadays they are very difficult to work because they are working and facing their handphone. Number 3, cybergogy, how they use online. As our previous speaker told about online Mooc. Okay, these are apps. Yeah, you can surf the internet and use all the apps that are relevant. These are for mathematics, STEM. These are for science. Example, these are for languages. STEM, science, technology, engineering. And now we are moving from Web 1, now Web 4. What is Web 4 all about? Web 4 is about artificial intelligence. The machine that we are dealing now are like human, you know. Example, if you have iPhone, there is a personal assistant. What is the name of personal assistant in your iPhone? Siri. How about Samsung? What is the personal assistant of Samsung? You don't have? Big? Oh, okay. I thought it's Galaxy or something. Can I have another one? Oh, okay. Example. Okay, someone asks Siri, are you human? Siri will say, does it matter? And the guy say, yes, it matters. I want to ask you, are you human? And Siri say, I thought so. Answer my question. The guy say, are you human? And Siri say, close enough, I would say. Close enough. Please, next. Oh. Okay. Someone call Siri, Siri, can you call my boyfriend, please? And Siri say, which boyfriend? Because Siri have already, you know, traced which one the number that you call most. And he say, why? If you have more than one wife, say, call Siri, call my wife, and say, which wife do you have? Okay, that's it, Joshua. Is there anything else I can help you? Siri say. And Joshua asked Siri, will you marry me? And Siri say, my end user licensing agreement does not cover marriage. My apologies. Yeah, sometimes it's a favorite question to Siri. Can you marry me? I want to marry you, whatever. Okay. Someone called Siri and said, can you murder someone for me? And Siri's reply, I found 3 mental health agencies fairly close to you. Yeah, maybe that you are crazy, you know. Okay, and this a robot who now is a lawyer. Now the lawyer are using robots to argue the court. I'm not sure whether the court can accept a robot as a lawyer. So we have from 4 phases. Now we are moving toward digital intelligence. Yeah. So digital intelligence can include everything of this thing, that including social, business, banking, operation, and so on. And 25 million jobs will disappear. 25 million jobs will disappear. 40% of the company will be out of business. And 25% of the world GDP will be by the digital business. These are the work have a risk in the future will be diminished. Yeah? Example, accountant. What else? Taxi driver, taxi. In the future, there is more taxi. Only Uber. You know Uber? You have Thailand, Uber? Yeah, okay. Yeah, job with this wheel, taxi. Uber versus taxi. But Albert Einstein say, I fear that technology will surpass our human interaction. The world have a generation of idiots. So we have to be very careful with digital era because it has positive and negative things that you have to be careful. Problem 69, if the child complains to the mother, what the mother will do? The mother will scold the child. And now, today, if the son complains to the parents will go to the teachers and scold the teacher. Okay? Have you experienced that? Yeah. Okay, this is a model of teacher education. What is the center, actually? So we have the center is the learner. We have to provide the motivation, guidance, relevant curriculum, and good assessment. Okay, we have to move from traditional teaching to the more of the contemporary learning strategies because the students are more advanced than us. Okay, we used to have this thing, lecturing, classwork, memorization, textbook, and then we move to another discussion, problem solving, group work, and what else can we provide the student with besides this pedagogy? Now we are more focused on project-based learning, work-based learning. Why is it important to give project-based? Because I ask and I answer my question, because you are very slow. Because project will include all the skill that you need. Which teaching method were most likely to retain learning? Which one? Is it reading? Is it listening? Is it lecturing? Which methods will retain most of the learning? Anybody can try? Which method will retain the learning most? Active learning? The answer is teaching others. Peer teaching. If you teach others, you yourself must master the knowledge. Okay, authentic learning. I go fast. Now we have different type of learners in our classroom. Okay, I will want to give you this model for your teaching, shape model. If you didn't get anything from my lecture today, you should apply this model in your classroom. Number one, shape is S. Tell stories in your classroom. 2, put some humor in your classroom. Vary your activities, vary your presentation style, give a lot of examples. This is a shape model that you can apply in your classroom. Okay? Number 2. Because Plato said, those who tell story will rule the world. And another model I want to give you is epic model. What is epic? Students are basically experiential. They need to hands-on. They need to use their hands, not only their mind, but their hands. Participatory, image-driven. When you come to the school, make sure you have something they can look at. Not only you, they can look at, but the visual. And then must be connected to the real world. When I was taking calculus in high school, I don't know what the hell I'm going to use with calculus. But when I go to engineering, then I know why calculus is very important. Because they are connected to the real world, how to solve the problem in the real world. But in high school, I just memorized the formula. Okay? What's wrong with this picture? What's wrong with this picture? Tell me. Yeah. Yeah. We are expecting the child will be the computer and the man, the old man with the newspaper. But now the reverse. There's some joke with the newspaper. Yeah? A wife, looking at the husband reading newspaper every day. So the wife said to the husband, I wish I'm a newspaper. So the husband said, why? Because you look at the newspaper every day. So I wish I'm a newspaper. So the husband said, yes, I wish I'm a newspaper. So the wife said, why? Why you want to be a newspaper? So the husband said, because I get a new newspaper every day. You are not laughing, you are very slow. Okay, this is the biggest fear of our student. When the signal is very low. The Wi-Fi signal very low, hanging. Number 2 is hanging. Number 3 is battery is very low. Right? Not only our student, the old student also very afraid of this. The old student is you. You. And then when they get a Wi-Fi signal, they will tell everybody, we are family. And this is the favorite of our student, cut and paste, copy and paste. Sometimes we receive the assignment and look the same, you know. Just the name is different because they cut and paste from their friend. And this is the way they take notes. It's okay, you can take notes, but make sure my photo is here. This is the way we take notes nowadays by computer. But new emerging technologies sometimes often meet opposition, you know. Not all technologies will be accepted. This is a dinosaur. Have you seen dinosaur lately? Have you seen one? Yes? No? Oh, in the movie. Okay, I thought you saw someone real. Okay, Lester Turo, MIT economist, says, we are watching the dinosaur die, but we don't know what will take their place. So, who's going to take the place of the dinosaur? Tell me. Who's going to take the dinosaur place? Traditional teachers. This will be disappeared. Yeah. Why the traditional teachers? Why they are going to like a dinosaur? We have 19th century classroom, still have, yeah? I don't know about Thailand. In my country, Malaysia, we still have this type of classroom, very big. We have 20th century curriculum and teachers. And of course, we have 21st century learners. So they are more advanced than the teachers. Okay, let's see how many of you are baby boomers, 46, 64, born. How many of you born 46, 64, including myself? I'm baby boomers. How many baby boomers? The old guy, the old ladies. You are in baby boomers, don't lie to me. Okay, how many of you are Generation X? From 65, 81. How many of you are X generation? Where is my... Thailand is very interesting. This is the first time I saw this thing like this. Okay, how many of you X generation? Why we call you X generation? Why we call you X generation? Crossing? No, because you are the lost generation, lost. How many of you are Y generation, 82, 2001? Y generation, raise your hand. Wow, you are the majority. Clap, yeah, majority. What happened? What happened? The Y generation make a problem. Y generation. Say, Y generation. I'm not a Y generation. Why are my pictures there? Can you? I hope you're going back to the PowerPoint. If not, I'm going to stop. That's the problem with technology. Sometimes the technology disrupts your presentation because technology is very dumb. Ken? Can or not? Can or not? Not cannot. Okay, good. Move forward. The Y generation, I'm going to tell you what happened to the Y generation. Oh, you want me to move? Well, almost there. Almost. Yes, yes, yeah. Okay, Y generation, the most. How about the digital native? How many of you digital native? 2002. Oh, you, yeah, the red girl. Yeah, you are the minority group in this room, but you are the majority outside. Okay, so this is type of generation Y. The father says, how sweetie, how school to die, and she say, you can read all about it on my blog, Dad. She already written that thing in the blog. But why? Oh, this is why we call it Y. Why we call you generation Y? Because you are wearing like this one. You are wearing this thing, Y generation. Okay, this is the Y generation. They like this one in their classroom. They like innovation, they like speed, they like customization. Wow. Okay, innovation is very important. Can you push for me? Is it possible that you push for me? Okay. Okay, what is innovation? What is innovation actually? Something that you invent new thing. Sometimes it's from the modifying the new thing, the existing thing. Okay, what is this one? Horse. Anybody say it's horse? Raise your hand. It's a horse. Yeah, you are the old one, the old horse. Okay, how come the horse become a frog? It's a frog, right? See again. It is a horse. Many of you say it's a horse, right? And how it became a frog? Why it became a frog? Perspective. Innovation is about perspective, how you look things from different perspective. Okay? When I started teaching university 25 years ago, or now 30 years ago, and I think there's only one solution, one answer, and one idea, but I'm wrong, because there's a multiple solution. Okay? In increasing complex world, sometimes all questions require new answer, right? Maybe 2 plus 2. I like this teacher. What is the square root of 9? The square root of 9 is 3. True, false, who cares? For me, who cares if you remember that? Is it solve a problem? Creativity is connection. Okay? You can connect things from the old ideas to the new ideas. And what is important is improvement. What can this innovation improve your pedagogy? What can this thing improve your work? And so on. Whoa. Can we call this innovation? Like, look at these photos and tell me whether it's innovation or not. 1. Is it innovation? Easy. You can put your tissue on your head so that every time you sneeze, you can use the tissue, right? But is it innovation or not? Okay, you want to use it or not? No. Why you don't want to use it? Because you are going to look stupid, right? So it's not innovation, because innovation is something new but useful. But this is something new but not useful because people are not going to use it. How about second one? Come on. Yeah. Easy, noodle. Don't splash on your face. Is it innovation? Are you going to use it? No, you are not going to use it. It's not innovation. Anything that you're going to use is innovation, but this one is not. What is the characteristics of innovation? Must be new and useful. And see from different eyes. Okay? Come on. I think we need to improve this this thing, right? Huh? You got a new one? Not yet. Okay, secret of genius is carry the spirit of child. Sometimes you need a childhood in your spirit, because child is more innovative than the old people. Sometimes they are so innovative when they wear the Superman clothes, they want to fly. You know? I remember my 5-year-old child coming from kindergarten. I told her, what did you learn from kindergarten today? And she said, I learned parts of my body. She replied in English. Okay, I want to test her, say, what is this hand? What is this hair? What is this eyes? What is this nose? What is this? Tongu. I said, no, it's not. Tongu is tongue. Say, oh, the teacher said tongu. The teacher says tongu. And next day, I test again and tongu again. It must be from a good teacher, because the thing is become permanent to her. That's why it's dangerous for a teacher, because when you tell something wrong, the child. Even when I look at my children's book and I saw this sentence, it says, Ali put the book on the table. Is it wrong or right? Ali put the book on the table. Wrong. I say it's wrong because the past tense of put is still put, it's not putted. And say, oh, the teacher said put it. The teacher said, yeah, 5 minutes. So, who's wrong? 5 minutes, I'm going to stop. Okay, to ask critical question. To be critical, to be innovative, you need to ask question. Because discovery begins with question, right? What is the discovery begin with question? Anybody knows? Example? Gravity. Who found the gravity? Who found the gravity? Sir Isaac Newton. Last year I was in Cambridge, was also keynote speaker, and Dr. Anirudh also there. And the apple tree of the Newton is still there. The apple tree. After 200 years, the apple tree is there. What happened to the apple that makes Newton found the gravity? The apple dropped on his head. The apple dropped on the Newton head. Of course, a lot of people saw the apple, fall down. But Newton asked why it drops, and he found the law of gravity. And Newton in Britain. If Newton in Thailand, the durian drops on his head, he will not have the chance to think about gravity. So what happened is there is no gravity. What happened? Tell me what happened is there is no gravity. Everything will be floating. So it's very difficult to go to the toilet because everything is floating. So thanks God we have gravity. Okay? So another example. These are all questioned by the scientists, where the cosmos come from. Very difficult, because why we remember the past, not the future? Okay, these all questioned by the... Okay, we have the brain, left brain, right brain. How many of you are left brainer? Good at numbers. How many of you are good at numbers? You are left brainer. How many of you? Raise your hand. Nobody? How are you? Right brainer. More in arts. Most of you are no brainer because you didn't raise your hand. Okay, Howard Gardner say we have multiple intelligence. Okay. Body smart, human brain. Okay, poet by Emily Dickinson say, brain is wider than the sky, and brain is deeper. See. Okay, last one. I'm going to finish up. I will finish with a puzzle. Okay, one day you are caught by the poachers. Poachers saw you, think that you saw them and report to the police. So in order to save them, they caught you and put you on the tree and tie you. And the lion is waiting to eat you. Okay, the lion is waiting to eat you. So what are you going to do? And you know, the candle is burning. If the rope is, yes, I know. Let me finish the puzzle. If not, I will tie you up in the tree. Okay, what happened? How to save your life from the lion? Become the food of the lion? Your survival hinges on the rope staying intact. There is no one around you to help you. What to do? Because as soon as the fire burn the rope and the rope snatched, then you become the food of the lion. How going to save? Some of my students say, you just pray because you're going to die anyway. So, what to solution? The answer, sing a happy birthday to the lion. Happy birthday, lion, and the lion will blow the candle. Okay, this is not logical, but it's a type of innovation outside of the box. Thank you very much for your attention. I have a lot of things, but
thank you so very much, Professor Rashmi. Unfortunately, we are running out of time and a bit later behind the schedule. Thank you so very much for your thought-provoking and very entertaining presentation. Thank you. Our next presenter, keynote speaker, she's the only female keynote speaker for this year conference. She is currently chair and full professor with the Institute of Learning Sciences and Technologies at National Tsinghua University, Taiwan. She received her PhD in instructional design and technology from the Ohio State University, Columbus, Ohio, USA. After returning from the States, she, in addition to fulfilling the requirements of her primary post as professor, because of her expertise in cutting-edge multimedia and information technologies in education, she was invited to assist in the establishment of the Center of Teacher Education, the Program of Information and Mass Media Communications, the Institute of Information System and Application, and recently, the Institute of Learning Sciences. She's going to present her work in applying innovative technologies in higher education using NTHU as an example, informed by students. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Shelley Chu Ching Yong.
actually we have to say, Sawadika, good almost afternoon, good noon. Okay, thank you for introduction. Okay, here I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere thanks to the organizer, Professor Pentani and her groups, her teams here. It's really my pleasure and honor to give a presentation here. I'm really very happy to share our research we have been spending for the past almost 6 or 7 years. Okay. Okay, it's me. You already heard something about me, so I would like to skip this. And I'm the head of the Learning Science Technology. So a lot of research I would like to share today is the teamwork. After I supervise a group of my doctoral students, master students, and in cooperation with the Center for Learning Excellence at Tsinghua University. Okay, because I would like to use the NTHU, that means National Tsinghua University. So some of you heard about Tsinghua University, right? Yeah, actually there are 2 Tsinghua University on Earth. The one I come from is located in Taiwan. The other one is in Beijing. And actually about 60-something years ago, according to Chinese history, when the former President Chiang Kai-shek lost mainland China, he moved the government from China to Taiwan. That time, the President Mei of Tsinghua University followed President Chiang to Taiwan. He established another Tsinghua University, so that's why nowadays we have 2 Tsinghua. Okay, so this is how I came here from. Okay, sorry. How to do this? I need help. Technology sometimes takes time to practice, and we need to adapt our human behavior. How to stop this? Let's go. PDF file. Who is the person who just came to upload file? Where can I find that? No file? Where? It's gone? Okay. The file is gone? Whoa. Magic? Something, yeah. So I will try to get things solved from by different ways. So the same? Use the same remote controller? No, this one doesn't work? That's a different one. Here? Okay, how I came from Taiwan to Thailand. Okay, so where is Tsinghua University? How many of you here have been to Tsinghua or have been to Taiwan? Right, put your hands up. Okay, thank you, welcome. Not so many, so that's why I prepared something. Hope you can get some idea about what Tsinghua looks like, because we use this Tsinghua as a case for today's presentation. Okay, that's Taiwan, that's mainland China. And see, Hsinchu You see Taipei, so Hsinchu is about 80 kilometers south of Taipei. Okay, that's the main gate entrance of the National Tsinghua University, NTHU. Okay, we go a quick trip through the campus. As the miniature, it's destroyed in the Cultural Revolution. So both Tsinghua has this gate miniature on campus. Okay, it's a corner of Tsinghua campus. The feature landscape that tri-phase clock. Okay, we have a lot of public arts on campus. This is one of them. Dialogue in silence. Okay, we have several lakes on campus. This is one of them, Xiangsi Hu and Chenggong Hu. Okay, and we have a square here for the second gate miniature. And the May, May, as I just mentioned to you, President May followed President Chiang Kai-shek. So now his graveyard is on campus. We have a May garden to memorize President May. Okay, also we have several pavilions on campus, very traditional architecture there. Okay, this is a College of Humanity and Social Sciences. My background's from there. So you can see the architecture. It symbolizes the dragon on the top of the mountain. That's the tail, that's the head, or some kind of boar. Okay, this is a pavilion again in the lake-hearted pavilion. So we call that the May pavilion in the May garden. And this architecture looks like an airplane. Okay, we have a Tsinghua butterfly garden, put a lot of emphasis on the nature environment protection. Okay, this one is a newly established gold garden, a very famous one. Okay, and the driftwood walkway, we had a very bad flood several years ago, so we used the driftwood to make a hallway, to make some kind of a decoration on campus. Okay, this page, we just walked through the Tsinghua campus. That's the real campus in the real world. However, when you look at this picture, with the advance of modern technology, we could use different technology and make our campus bigger, extend our territory on the cyberspace. So look at the right-hand side here. Gee, it goes back to the, the first page. Okay, so on the left-hand side, we see a lot of open education resources, open resources. Something like this morning, our keynote mentioned MOOCs and several leading MOOCs in the States. Actually, in 2012, I was doing research at Stanford Research Institute, SRI, in California, Silicon Valley. And that year, as you know, they launched Coursera. And what a coincidence. That year, Tsinghua University in Taiwan also launched a platform called ShareCourse. ShareCourse MOOCs is quite similar to the Coursera, to Stanford University. And it was established by a professor from computer science. Yeah, this very similar situation. So let's get back to the study. How we applied innovative technology into higher education using, we like to use NTHU as an example. And this morning we have listened to several different cases, particularly the previous presentation made everybody very excited. But when we talk about innovations, remember from yesterday's keynote speaker, Gary said, sometimes innovations fail. Why? Remember? How many of you were here? Why innovations fail? Well, no response? Well, it's just like, yeah, I have the answer. Because no implementation, right? Why no implementation? The answer was friends, right? We need to work as a team, as a group. he gave a very good definition about friendship. How can we make the complete things implement to make innovation implement? Yeah, as some kind of policymakers or leaders at the university, we have to face this kind of issues or challenge, how to implement new technology on campus. This kind of issue always challenge all of us. So I'm thinking now we might go over time, so I try to maybe cut or skip some. Most of you might be hungry, okay? So that's some kind of background about so-called disrupt innovative technology in higher education. So innovative technology here refers to using emerging technology to flip established education environment by increasing access. Remember access? Able access, cut costs, and revolutionizing delivery. So that's why we want to revolution the campus through, nowadays we have mobile devices have been preventatively used for daily life. Today we use a lot of social medias, and the availability of the high-speed internet connection has further increased all kinds of open online courses. And major universities like Tsinghua in Taiwan have jumped into the open education resources such as open online courses and so many leading MOOCs platform. Okay? And when I was at the SRI in California, Silicon Valley in 2012, that year, Stanford launched Coursera. And the president, John Hennessy, said at the conference, he said, okay, online education is the coming tsunami. Have you ever had experiences of dealing with tsunami? No? Really? You are lucky? But I think if some participants from Japan, yeah, from Indonesia, some Japan, you have experiences with dealing with the tsunami. It's like, wow, how you survive. And now, if that's a tsunami, the online education is coming. Now we are facing this kind of tsunami. So that's why we have to find our way to get some kind of innovation implemented. Okay? So look at this. So why we conducted a series of that kind of study? Let's look at this diffusion of innovation model. I think some of you are quite familiar with this model. 5 groups of people from the innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, laggard. But there's a chasm in between from innovators to early adopters. So the chasm between means what? When you have new technology, you know what to do? Not really. You need to learn. Maybe a group of people need to work together to collaborate, right? So we listen to many presentations, but when we put them into daily practice, we need to know some empirical data, how scholars, how teachers, how students can incorporate new technologies into our educational schooling setting. We have to look at how they are in daily practices. So we also have those questions in mind, okay? Those questions are like, how could the disrupt innovative technologies facilitate a renewal of higher education? What might be disrupted? How do the disrupt innovative technologies be integrated in an authentic life setting for different domain subjects? Pay attention to the word domain subject. Just now the speaker says, yeah, maybe one model, one size fits all. Does it really work? We would like to show the data. Yeah. So for different domain subjects in higher education, do the disruptive innovation technology make any effect on students' learning performance or motivation? If yes, how they impact students' learning? Okay, the last one, how should universities, I know a lot of participants are from different universities, different countries. So face the change and the transformation that disrupted innovative technologies brought. I try to use this graph through the whole presentation. And if you pay attention with me, let's go through this graph and you will see this graph will give you the whole picture about 6 studies, okay? 6 studies we conducted for the past 6 years. So as a university, you know, it's like that. We have undergraduate programs. We also have graduate programs, right? And at the center, you know, as a university, we offer fundamental courses. And in addition to that, we have the liberal education we call general education. And sometimes we offer the courses related to cognitive, affective, and motor skills. So how can new technology be incorporated in different areas, in different programs? It would be very challenging, and we like to know the answers. Okay, that's the courses, from the courses way. How about, let's look at this from different perspectives. That means from the platform itself, learning management system or cloud service. The other one for a course, that would be very important to have the content and the pedagogy. As our previous speakers said, that's important. Okay, what kind of content and pedagogy? When we try to incorporate open online courses or other open educational resources into actual teaching and learning settings. And the other one would be, because technology advances rapidly, we have to face the uses of different devices into different situations. So in order to understand the holistic impact technology could bring onto the real world, so we conducted 6 studies. The first study 1 and 2 will be focusing on the platform, redesign the platform, and try to deal with how to make our learning content adapt to also effective on different learning devices. It doesn't work. So this is table. It further shows us, after we get the platform redesigned and make the platform better, okay, then we would like to focus on how technology, the disruptive innovative technology, be integrated into different subject domains. So we try to identify some courses from fundamental subject. In this study, the study 3 will be thermal physics. That's a hard science, right? Some people, as you know, particularly Tsinghua is a research university. Maybe you have similar experiences. When you would like to try to make some innovation, some professors, some faculty members would say, oh, sorry, I'm very busy because a lot of research work we have to deal with, and we need to get our research result published on the famous SCI, SSCI journals. No time for that, right? That's the authentic, the world, that's the reality. So how could we get ideas, implement? We have to identify some professors with the good willings, and they have the same vision, and see as friends, as good teams, we can work together. So here, for the undergraduate program, we also try to find a course in physical education. How we can apply new technology in a badminton course. For general education, we identify a course called Art Appreciation, and the last study 6, that will be a course offered in graduate program. We take academic writing as our research. So it's all about the platform. In terms of platform and the device in between, we can look at the face-to-face learning, online learning. Between platform and the content in between, we can think about nowadays active learning, collaborative learning, self-paced learning. Okay, so in content, this area, we consider various and open learning content to be used for the different subject matter that includes OER, open online courses. So many things, and we also want to look at the participant, including learners and instructors, and how to try to make the devices effective and affordable for every student. So it's kind of a long way. If you want to do something innovative, that really takes time. It takes some kind of your mind and wisdom as well. So if you like to follow me, then I just suggest that you have to review some literature. But today I don't want to go into details about the literature because it covers three major aspects. The first one, the first aspect with the information and communication technologies in higher education. The second aspect was students' motivation and active learning, something like we have to look at different models, for example, like ARCs, some related models. And the third part, we would like to look at the issues and theories underpinning the courses, the content area in terms of thermal physics, physical education, art appreciation, education, and academic writing. As we know, for different subject matter, the nature of learning and instruction should be differently. So that's the focus of our study for the past 6 or 7 years. So regarding the system and the platform, actually we have two studies. We try to redesign the platform and optimize the learning systems. Okay, those two studies. So let's look at this part. Look at the pictures, you know. If you look at how we redesign the NTHU's OCW platform based on the cloud computing and responsive web design, and we try to understand whether the platform could extend the reach of open online course across the various devices. So we launched our system design and implementation from the 2010, and quite a while for 2 years. And we also work on data collection. And we did data analysis. So that's something we have done, some kind of techniques here. We use them, see the content will appear on different devices. And for responsive web design, you know, we can see that how the device detection to optimize the content like that on different devices. And we have to, you know, for learning purpose, definitely not just for entertaining. That's why readability for learning is quite important. That's what it looks like the content turned out on displayed on different devices. In addition to that, we also need to take the functionality into consideration. I know some of you share the similar experience with me. So when we use different devices, you can really enjoy reading and learning through different functions here. So see, for different screens, that's the menu of Moodle system. And the right one, the menu of cloud-based responsive design. See, you can see the display. Okay, we changed to the cloud computing, used the things and the skills like that. Okay, so I would like to share with you what kind of challenges we have been through for that period of time. See, we look at the things from those 5 aspects: screen size and navigation, material format, and network and storage. I think because of time, I don't want to go into details. Okay, so after that, we would like to check about that time whether where are those learners, audience, who can really who can be beneficial from the redesigning of our platform. So that time we check, use Google Analytics, and we see we have 460,000 visits from 264 different mobile devices. You know, that's quite a kind of a valuable data for those manufacturers to know what kind of devices the participants, the learners will use for online learning. Okay, so they were coming from 146 territories to visit the courses at our platform. Okay, the second one will be optimizing learning management system for mobile learnings. Okay, so we try to see how to get the LMS improved so students could get the best learning materials from different mobile devices, both in the classroom setting and also after the school. So that would it's a course. So in that course, you know, actually we try to make the system consist of 3 elements, include the system database, mobile learning module, and the Highboy Gallery module. Because when we look at the study, we use the art related course for observations. So that's the result. The classes, a classes of 51 college students and 12 graduate students in that course. So it turned out like that. The result is pretty good. The students' perception of the e-readers. Actually, we use e-readers for that class. Okay, then after we have optimized the system, then we try to see how we can design the learning materials and find out some kind of idea pedagogy for different subject matters. So in the fall studies like this. Okay, the same graph, and you see the study 3, transforming the thermal physics classroom with integration of open online course. It's a hard science. It's regarding hard science, and it's not that easy, particularly for this kind of course. And study 4, applying an iPad to enhance badminton motor skill learning. Study 5 will apply multi-touch technology for facilitate art appreciation learning. Okay, the 6th one will be the effectiveness of adopting e-readers to facilitate EFL students' process-based academic writing. So each course takes at least 1 semester long for us to work with the instructors of the courses. So here this table gives you some kind of a overall picture. How many students in study 3 through study 6 were involved in that studies? For example, study 3. Okay, we have 99 college students, 1 instructor in that thermal physics course. Study 4, we have 225 college students, 1 instructor. And for this study, we divided students into 2 groups, experimental groups and control groups. So from study 4 down to the study 6, we all have the 2 groups of students, experimental and the control group. And you see the student number for study 5. This one is 118 college students and 1 instructor in the course called Art and Society. And the last one will be the study focusing on the graduate student, graduate programs. We had 23 graduate students and 1 instructor in the technical and scientific English writing course. So after you have the 4 courses, the whole picture in mind, so I will quickly share with you some highlights of the results, okay? So that's the instructor of the thermal physics. say, if we want to make the technology effective, so the teacher must be open-minded and also we work on course content redesign. We try to give students more options for them, particularly the younger generation. Just now, the previous speaker say, okay, in our audience, some of us, X generation, Y generation, of some kind of generation. And now we have to deal with the digital natives, right? And how many options? Actually, in reality, we really allow students to have their own freedom to choose the way they would like to study for this kind of hard science course. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options for the students to choose. They can choose their favorite ways of learning. So that's from the traditional one, face-to-face to web facilitate mode, alternative blended learning, online learning. So everything just goes online. And the last one will be flipped learning. Here, we have several learning modes for students to choose. And you know the result, okay? So here, let's see. So they can choose their learning model. So the result is like flipped learning patterns get the best learning performance, which is significantly better than online learning pattern. So that's, if you would like to teach a course like that, you can take this into consideration. Flipped learning mode will get the best result here, and statistically is significant. Okay, self-regulated time management is the most important factor of the student's learning outcome. You know, nowadays, a student need to learn how to self-regulate it, how to manage their time well, and well-scheduled management result, a better learning performance. Okay. For the study 4, we try to apply iPad into the physical education. We see whether iPad can enhance badminton classes, motor skills. Okay, you can see the pictures, how students use the iPad for learning badminton. So here, say the students who adopt the iPad show better motor skills, performance, and learning motivation compared to the students who were given the conventional face-to-face approach. We all remember when we had physical class, the instructor just shows something, okay, just follow me, and they demo something, that's it. Then you practice. So in this kind of study, that's the result. You can see statistically the experimental groups will be performing better. So the result is like tablets in badminton learning could play an important role for the following reasons. Learning motor skill they can learn the learning motor skill from holistic views on iPad. They could achieve the desired motor skill at a self-pace. I think a self-pace is quite important, supplemented by digitized video on pad. They can use the pad to record their own performance. And the pad, they still afford intuitive, efficient, and precise and immediate visual feedback. Visual feedback on learning, you know, it can provide individual learning. And here we present a model called WISER. Just now we heard some other models, but for physical education here, the model, we call that WISER, the several steps. The first one is just step 1, watching the model demonstration presented in handheld technology. The second step, imitating demonstrations and immediately recording via handheld technology. The third step, self-examination, the recorded video for identification. Then move up to the fourth step, enhancing motor skills while comparing the video. Students were afforded to do this with the use of the iPad. Okay, the step 5, they're repeating movement and seeking advices from the teachers. So that's the power of iPad to be used in this kind of physical education context. So the cycle is like that, so students could learn well. Study 5, for multi-touch technology to facilitate appreciation learning on art. So the result, just like this, those pictures were pictures from the classes. So the results are like this. There are statistically significant differences in learning motivation with the higher level achieved by the experimental groups than the control group. So the statistics show on those tables there. Multi-touch technology in art appreciation learning could play an important role in the following aspect. The first one is changing the view of learners on art materials. Remember, we just saw a horse and a frog in the previous presentation. Yeah, particularly for the art appreciation course, you know, the technology affords students to view things from different perspectives, and the younger generation really presented different views through the uses of the technology. They could listen to lectures at a flexible and personalized pace, and they could create efficient and intuitive annotations. A lot of annotations were collected, and that's really very creative. They were even going beyond the thoughts the teacher already had in mind. So that's really very interesting, how they perceive technology, how they use the innovation, annotation to do their art learning. And some other, this table show a lot of gesture, what we have to learn when we try to incorporate new technology like this into particular touch screen, how they use a touch screen to learn the art. So that's the model, how the technology was integrated into this kind of learning. You see a lot of cooperation and collaboration were required, and we also involved some TA, our graduate students, and the instructors, and a lot of apps online. The apps could be used for this kind of learning. Okay. Okay, the last one will be effectiveness of adopting e-readers to facilitate the EFL students' process academic writing. So the result is like this. The e-reader is significantly beneficial for students' academic writing process and may potentially help students improve their writing compared to the conventional paper-based approach. So you see how students concentrate or work as a group through this kind of CSCO. And the integration of the e-readers into the writing class was helpful throughout the writing process from individual students or individual student, peer group, and the teacher's perspective. After the class, we conducted interviews to those teacher students. And for academic writing, they still have different steps to integrate technology in this kind of writing cycle. So it's step like this: step 1, pre-writing, and outlining, drafting, revising, editing, the last step of publishing. So as we know, when we try to incorporate technology into different subject matters, actually we can observe different pedagogy, even different learning modes. Okay, so this graph indicates the process-based academic writing. And we know e-readers have the potential to assist the EFL students in academic writing and function as a handheld library. That's very important for them to do immediate reference and annotating tool. They use that as a kind of good, powerful annotating tool. It's a media for sharing annotation. Before, you know, when we use the paper-based writing, we don't think students would like to pass you home a piece of paper to all of the members. But when they share, they can just share what they did, and they share annotation and comments. Okay, the function of e-readers can assist students' writing process and make the recursive, I like the term, the recursive circle of steps more efficiently. Yeah, sometimes, you know, it's not just a linear way. You can get feedback. Then you can also they can do the academic writing through other students or teachers in feedback, and that kind of recursive circle is really very good for them. Okay, just come to the conclusion. So today, few studies use a holistic range of practical examples discussing how disruptive innovation technology integrated in the authentic learning. So the 6-year research unlocked the hidden potential of the disruptive, innovative technology for the different domain subjects, as I just shared with you in the context of higher education. The longitudinal study serves as a systematical and a constructive reference for higher education institute, instructors, students, and platform programmers for further implement the online degree program courses and virtual universities. So we think we can share for school administrators and instructors. This series study helps them to discover the surprising new ideas and strategies. For students in the college, learning in the classroom has been flipped to be a self-paced and active learning. For lifelong learners, they can find the convenience and flexibility of online learning methods to match for their own learning goals and styles. So, where is our role in this PPT, you know, as the participant of this kind of innovation, when we try to incorporate innovative technology into authentic work, and as you see, we could be educators or learners or administrators, or we might play multiple roles, right? But technology is already there. And now we are living in the real world plus the extension of the virtual world. It's changing, and we can find our way. And I just share what we have been working for the past years. And very interesting, we also work on a lot of how MOOCs can be used in higher education. Hope we will be able to share with you more about how MOOCs can change the way of learning. Just now, I think the first presenter said, even the MOOCs, the number is not really massive. But however, I think the big contribution of MOOC is all of the policymakers and high-ranking administrators all come to understand, you know, web-based learning becomes important nowadays. No matter how big number it could be, all of them all pay much attention on MOOCs, and they even get confused between MOOCs and web-based learning. So, yeah, it deserves of our further exploration. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shelley, for your interesting and informative presentation. Before you are dismissed from this conference room, I have a few announcements to make, particularly the first one for those foreign participants and also the speakers. You can see that all Thai participants are wearing in black, gray, and also white tone of clothing because we are in the mourning period of our beloved deceased King Rama IX, and the royal cremation will take place in October. And the second one, for those who were not here yesterday, we have one fun activity for you to join. You can use the second hashtag on your name tag here, the TCU IEC 2017, to post in your IG or Twitter. And then, or you can visit the Facebook IEC 2017 event, and your picture will appear on the monitor in front of the grand hall. And also the last one, there are still many interesting presentations by invited speakers, and also the workshop, and also the demonstration. And last but not least, thank you so very much for your active participation. We hope to see you again next year. ขอบคุณครับ